Big results in running are earned. When I ran 2:09 for the marathon, it was earned. When I ran 61:08 for a half marathon, I earned that. I think runners and athletes and people get to these places in life where there's a complacency. It's like you think the result is already yours because you're showing up to training.
This guy is a wrecking machine, and he's hungry. Hell, you ain't been hungry since you won that belt.
You want the big result, so why shouldn't it be yours?
What's the matter? You got nothing left inside, huh? Because you're training like a damn bum, you know that?
You earn these big results in running, not just by putting in the hard work, which of course is a fundamental to achieving big results, but it's earned in the little details when you apply yourself the right way over a long enough period of time to achieve something special for you. If it was just hard work, a lot more people would have achieved those big results they want, but it requires something different, and that's where big results are earned. Through discipline, through patience, through consistent dedication, through overcoming little psychological barriers along the way.
Maybe you're right, maybe I ain't got it no more.
Then don't you waste my time no more.
That are likely holding you back in life and likely holding you back in running.
And if you ever get hurt and you feel that you're going down, this little angel is going to whisper in your ear. He's going to say, "Get up, you son of a bitch!" Because Mickey loves you.
So let's get into it and let's teach you how to earn some big results. Okay, so it should come as no surprise that the first topic of conversation is hard work. You must put in the hard yards. I know I've said they're not necessarily the only thing that contributes to a big result, but it's important. If you don't put in hard work, you'll not get that next big result. If you don't want that next big result, well then you'll not put in the hard yards. So you have to find a good reason why you want to achieve that big result. You need to remind yourself almost on a daily or a weekly basis why you want to achieve that and why you're going to work hard. When you're tired from work, maybe you're tired from family life, what's going to get you out the door working hard, putting in those hard yards. That's the first topic, and that's so important. Without hard work, we will not go on to achieve the things that we want to achieve. But sometimes you need to manage that hard work. Sometimes it's important in running to run at the right heart rate, run at the right pace, execute a training session in a way that gives you the benefits of that day and doesn't take away too much from the body. Why is running and other sports, why do we want to run the fastest pace possible to get the training effect? It makes more sense to run almost the slowest pace possible to get the best training effect that day, because that costs the body less when it comes to recovery time. So you have to put in the hard work, but the hard work has to be relevant to what you were supposed to be doing that day. So hard work plus executing training in the right way and following a good training plan, that's the first part of this process. Second part of today is patience. You must show patience in the bigger picture and control the controllables. That means that if you want to run sub 3 for a marathon, and that's your big goal, and that big goal is 16 weeks away, you don't need to be ready to run sub 3 hours until week 16. And so there must be patience in that build up to spread your motivation across that entire build up. What a lot of athletes are doing is gung-ho week 1, gung-ho week 2, tired by week 3, possibly injured by week 7, no interest by week 10, and suddenly it's all over. Then it gets to week 14, I could still do that. Week 15, I could definitely still do that. And your little chimp in the brain is saying, we can still do this, but you can't, because you wasted too much of that 16 weeks in that sort of dip or that lull period, because you lost that motivation, because you went too hard at the beginning. When you really want something, maybe it is sub 3, maybe it's sub 4, maybe it's a new 10K PB, half marathon PB, the tendency is to go guns blazing that next day, or maybe even that day. But sometimes you just have to show a little bit of patience. Sometimes you just have to let out a little bit of steam. You know, bit of steam gone, calm it down, get the training done, do it well, execute it at the right intensity, but just show some patience, because it's only on week 16, week 12, how many weeks you're away from that big goal. It's only at that end of the program that you need to be ready to deliver. And if you do it the right way, and you build slowly enough, you'll get your big goal. If you go too hard at the start, you risk injury, tiredness, you might not get to race day. So slow it all down, show some patience, and you'll get the big result that you deserve. So maybe the most important is consistency. Consistency can cover lots of different angles. The angle I'll go into today is in line with the patience, in line with the hard work. But if you're gonna achieve a big result, it can't possibly be done in one day. It can't be done in a week or a month. So you have to get to a point that you're willing to, like I said, spread that hard work over the 12 to 16 weeks and be consistent with what you're doing. The more consistency that you show in training, the better the adaptations, the more your fitness will improve, and the body just responds well to actually doing a little bit less, but more consistently. When I get to the beginning of a build-up and I want to run 2:08:10 for the marathon and I want to qualify for the Paris Olympics, I write a contract with myself that says, you owe me this amount of training. You owe me this amount of gym. You owe me this amount of stretching. And that's all dialed into, this is what it will take. To achieve this big result, it's going to take this amount of miles per week. To achieve this big result, you're going to have to do yoga 1.5 to 2 hours per week. You want this big result, get in the gym 2 to 3 times a week. That's a contract over a 12 to 16 week period. And if you've done your gym once, you can tick that off. You've done your gym twice, you can tick that off. That's that week done. But you're not trying to make up time towards the end of the program. That increases injury risk, that increases that rate of tiredness. And so you want to spread it across the entire 12 to 16 weeks. And if you're not, you're simply not going to absorb the amount of training that you could have, the amount of fitness that you could have if you'd done it in that more consistent pattern. So the final thing to talk about today is you'll need help. That's a interesting one because a lot of the time we do like to crack on with things ourselves. But the biggest results that I've achieved in running have came when I'm surrounded by a good team of physios, nutritionists, psychologists, coaches, other athletes to train with, family support. It's came from a network of people that are in line with the goals that I have. But get help. Could be a yoga class, could be socializing with people at the weekend to take your mind off of running, could be a masseuse that's going to help you along the way, could be a partner that's going to come to the track when you're working your ass off, or come to hills to remind you to hold back a little bit that day because you have a tendency to overdo it. It could be somebody that's just going to be a pain in your ass and keep reminding you that you need to do your yoga, your recovery stuff, your foam rolling, your gym. And you need to support yourself. So that internal dialogue that hopefully along this path to achieve this big goal and earn this big result, that internal dialogue, you want that to be positive. It might not always be positive, but start to have little things that you say to yourself that boost you if it's getting a bit too negative. So start to work on some of these things, get some help, start to show some patience in what you're doing, be more consistent with what you're doing, and get in the hard work. But remember that the hard work element, some days it's not pushing 110%. That's the misconception. Some days it's holding back because you know you were supposed to execute that training in a better way, and that was the hard task for that day. Start to think about what is going to be difficult for me over these next 12 to 16 weeks to get this right. Am I going to struggle with patience? Am I going to struggle being consistent when I start to get tired and the weather's not as nice? Am I going to struggle to hold back on some days when I'm not supposed to push? You nail all that, you nail the hard work, you're going to fucking nail that big result. And you'll have earned it. That's how you earn a big result in running. If you want to know more about all the stuff that surrounds running, the yoga, the meditating, keeping your psychology in a good place, the recovery, the gym, the nutrition, how to be better at running, training plans, 10K, half marathon, marathon. You can check out that at my website, joggingroom.com. And thanks for watching. You can like, subscribe, do all those lovely things, and take care. I should have put in there, have fun. Running can get very intense, very, very intense. So try to have fun too. But some of this has to be serious because I think people are assuming because they went out there and worked really hard, they deserve that big result. When maybe that day they were supposed to hold back a little bit, and that's what was hard about that day. So if you keep making those same mistakes, you'll keep getting the same results. So go earn that next big result and do it the right way.